Hi there, I'm Shar, and today I'm going to be showing you how to fine tune a large language model using your own writing or any writing in the public domain. So, what you'll need is 10,000 words of text, any text editor, I use Sublime Text, Google Drive, and our Colab notebook. The links for all of these are down in the description. And don't worry, we're going to do it together. I'll hold your hand every step of the way. So let's start by getting some nice clean text to use. We want at least 10,000 words of text in a .txt file, but it's more optimal to have somewhere between 30,000 and 90,000. That's the kind of amount that's going to give us the best result. So let's go. If you don't have writing of your own and you want to work with something in the public domain, you can try and work with something from Project Gutenberg. So just head to gutenberg.org and you'll see you're in a library of over 70,000 free books. These are all suitable for using for this purpose, all out of copyright. So here we're going to have a little look. We'll take a look at frequently downloaded books as an example, and we can see the top 100 books yesterday. I'm just going to take one of these. I'm going to take Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. It'll bring us to all the different versions that we can get to download. What we want is this one right here, Plain Text UTF-8. So we just click on that. It's going to open it up here, and I'm just going to copy the whole thing like this. Just copy, Control A, Control C, copy the whole thing. And then I'm going to open up my Sublime Text editor. And in Sublime Text, I will paste what we have. So, like I mentioned about having a nice clean text earlier, to make clean text, what we want to do is we want to remove all of the content at the end because this is not the text that we want to fine-tune the model with. So we're going to go all the way down to the end. And then we're also going to go up to the top and remove everything at the top. So just take everything out, including all the chapters and on the chapter headings. So to make something that's really, really clean and nice to work with, what we're going to want to do is make sure that we get rid of anything that's like that. So for example, I'm going to Control F and look for the word chapter. And then when I can see chapter 2 here, I can get rid of it. I can also get rid of stuff like this, all these things here, any titles of chapters. So I'd get rid of all the chapters that way. I'll see other things like, for example, they're using these underscores here in order to use for italics. So instead, I'm going to actually just get rid of all of those. So in my, I'm going to Control Shift F. I'm going to find and replace, and I'm going to replace all of those underscores with nothing. So when you replace that, it'll replace a lot of them, and there we go, it'll be gone again. And this is here, you can see an illustration. So whenever you see anything that's like an illustration, we're going to get rid of that as well. So anything like this we want to work on, we just want to clean the text so that the only thing that's there is perfect prose. We only want to work with the lines that we have. And then let's save that and move on. Now that we have our clean text in hand as a .txt file, our next step is going to be heading over to Google Drive to make a new folder. So here we are in Google Drive. I've just made my own new folder here called Making My Own LAIKA. And all I'm going to do now is drag in the files that I want to use. So for our experiment today, the files that I'm going to use are going to be Charles Baudelaire's Fleur de Mal. It's a book of a collection of all of his poetry. So I'm just going to drag in my clean. You know what clean means. We made it nice and clean using Sublime Text and taking out all the titles of poems and anything extraneous like that. So I'm just going to pop in my .txt file here, and that's that for this part. Okay, so here we are in the really exciting part where we're going to use our Colab notebook in order to fine-tune the large language model on that clean text file that we've already prepared and have waiting in our Google Drive. So first up, you're going to open up the Colab notebook. This is what it looks like. And you can see this was made originally by Max Wolf, and then my colleagues Martin and Riddy have made some edits to it over the years to make it more easy and working in the year 2024. So the very first thing you can do, we're going to do this step by step down through the way. So the very first thing you want to do is copy the notebook to your own Google Drive and save your changes. So instead of working directly in this, very first thing, File, save a copy in Drive, have your own copy. Call it whatever you like. Then open that new notebook and close this one. And then all you have to do is start running the cells below by pressing the little round button, play button, that appears on the square brackets. So let's give it a start. The very first thing is just going to connect the Google Drive to this notebook. So I'm going to click on that. And the first thing it's going to ask is, can we access the Google Drive files? Absolutely. I'm very happy for you to do that. I know what I'm doing. And let's keep going. So it'll take a few moments to get this piece set up, and then we'll be on to the next part. Now, it's mounted at Content Drive, so now we can move on to the next piece. So the next part is creating the new folder in Google Drive and uploading a text file. We've already done that. So we're going to make sure that we have it in here. So hovering over there to the left in the sidebar, I can see my files. And I'm just going to click on Drive and then click on My Drive. And then I'm going to find my folder. I'm going to have a ton of stuff in here. That's a bit of a mess. So I'm just going to find the folder that I used today, which was called Making My Own LAIKA. And then I'm going to take Baudelaire Flowers of Evil. Here I'm going to copy the path and then pop that in here. Okay, so now we've got the correct path in there, and then we're going to press play. It's ready. From here, we got a few more bits to do. First of all, install the packages. At any point, if you want to see the code, you can click on Show Code and it'll show you all the bits that are happening. I personally find it a little overwhelming to see lots of code, so I prefer just to keep it clean like this. Then we're going to head in to the next one and import libraries. Some of them take a little longer than others, but in total, the whole process should take less than about 15 minutes. Next up, importing required functions. Doesn't take long for that one. And now we're getting into the chunkier stuff. So let's download and get our base model ready. So we're going to be working with GPT-2 here. So this is a really lovely old model that gives some nice juicy results. So that's why we work with that one. And that's ready now. And now is the part that really takes a while. So this one does take about 10 minutes, and this is fine-tuning the language model. So what this part is doing, once we click the cell, is it's starting to kind of massage the text that you've chosen in your .txt file into GPT-2 so that it will just start to only write in the style and using the contexts and concepts of what you've worked with. So that's what we're going for now. And it's a good time to go make a nice cup of tea and come back in a few minutes. Okay, so now the language model has been fine-tuned. We're ready to go. And now we're on to the next steps. So now we're just going to load the model again. Things are properly set up. Only takes a moment. And then we can do some random generation, make sure everything's okay. Okay, everything's okay. And now we're going to get to the interesting part, which is the actual generation of text, the way we want to do it. So you'll see here that we have a bunch of parameters that you can change. And the most important one, the one that's really important right now, is the first, because at the first one, we can change what it says. So at the moment it says at night they. That means that's going to be the first line. So whatever we want the first line to be, if what we're doing, that's what we should put here in the prompt. So I'm going to put in a line that might start an interesting Charles Baudelaire poem. But let's make it interesting. Today is the 8th of October in 2024. So let's just see what Baudelaire would say about that. On the 8th of October, I'll just put a little comma and we'll just see. The next part is temperature. Now, I have traditionally always kept the number here at 93, and it works really well for me. You can play around with these over time. There's little points up here about what they all mean, so you can change them. But to get started, probably just leave them the way they are, see what you see, and then change them afterwards. So we're going to start off with on the 8th of October. And now if we play, it should give us 3. So we can see max return sequence is 3. It should give us 3 returns with a minimum token of 20 and a max of 50 using our new fine-tuned model using Baudelaire. And here we go. On the 8th of October, 16,000 years ago, the great sea star appeared in the sky to thunderous cheers around the world. Wonderful. So that's it for today. If you would like to see some examples of how we've used this before in the past, you can have a look. We have tons of videos on our channel with things like our Friday Night LAIKA, where we would do a lot of different experiments with different types of text. You can also check out what we're up to now at withlaika.com. Have a look at any of the things we've done there and let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any questions, and happy creating out there. Bye.